What if I told you that the fastest rollercoaster in the Netherlands has held on to the top spot for 23 years? Yeah, the top spot may not be a big surprise, but the runner-up will absolutely catch you off guard. So hold on to your restraints, because these are the 11 fastest coasters in the Netherlands. Wait, 11? Yeah, we're starting off with a tie for the 10th spot. So a small note before we get into the list. In case of a tie, the older the coaster is, the higher up the list it will be. After all, it is the first coaster that managed to reach that speed. And with that out of the way, we are dropping into the list with one of the newest coasters in the Netherlands. Joy Chill at Walibi Holland. This is the milder version of the two Joy coasters, but it is not for the lack of speed. This Rocky Mountain construction Raptor reaches a speed of 80 km per hour, or about 50 miles per hour. It reaches the speed after the main drop and maintains it well throughout the course as the coaster stays relatively close to the ground. The main focus of Joy Chill are the airtime pops and the interaction it has with Joy Thrill. And while they start at the same height, Joy Thrill seems to have a slightly higher top speed, so we will get to that in a moment. The speed on Joy Chill is further accentuated by the tight turns and the elements like the zigzag. It finishes the course after the DNA roll with Joy Thrill and slams into the brakes hard. At the end of the course, this single road coaster still had quite some speed to spare. So with the speed, airtime and tight elements, is it truly chill? One can debate that, and quite some coaster enthusiasts prefer Joy Chill over Joy Thrill. But it wasn't the first coaster to hit the speed. That honor goes to Condor at Walibi Holland. Staying at Walibi, we are heading to the prototype Vekoma suspended looping coaster, or SLC for short. Condor is one of the oldest coasters at Walibi Holland, and it will make sure you won't forget that. It starts off with a swooping drop where you will hit the top speed of 80 km per hour or 50 miles per hour. As with most of these SLCs, Condor is trying to hurt you, and sadly, because it's a prototype, it is succeeding at that. SLCs have gotten a bad reputation throughout the world simply because of the rough transitions, along with the headbanging. They are generally seen as too fast and too intense, but Condor is just a bit worse. The profiling on some of these inversions is downright rough, and the speed Condor takes them at does not help. But let's move back to more joyous coasters for our number 9. Joy Thrill at Walibi Holland. The second of the new for 2025 RMC Raptors, and as the name suggests, this green track puts the focus on thrill. Joy Thrill starts at the same height as Joy Chill, but I suspect the first element is key to the slightly higher top speed of 82 km per hour or 51 miles per hour. You will rise up a bit higher into an inversion, the barrel roll down drop, and as such you will have a bit more time on a steeper angle to pick up speed. This inversion is a banger to start out with, and like Joy Chill, it keeps the speed well as it stays close to the ground. The main difference is that you do rise up higher into the top console to float above Joy Chill. So while the top speed is higher, the slightly taller elements offset it nicely to the Chill counterpart, and you will have an excellent dual-legging experience. And this interaction is what makes Joy such a delight to ride. Do you prefer Chill or Thrill yourself? Let me know down in the comments. But Joy is still outpaced by a wooden coaster with a pretty similar name, as we have Troy at Toverland taking the number 8 spot. Troy is the fastest wooden coaster in the Netherlands, reaching a top speed of 86.9 km per hour or 54 miles per hour. This is a 12 km per hour difference with the other woodies, yours and the Draak at the Efteling. The height of this Great Coasters International, or GCI for short, woody really helps here, as Troy is also the tallest wooden coaster in the Netherlands. The twisted drop at the start brings you to the top speed, and after a few higher elements, it will stay closer to the ground and deliver many airtime pops and excellent laterals. With this speed, Troy truly feels out of control, and as is often the case, the later you ride it, the better the experience is. Near the end of the day, these trains are hauling through the track, and because of that, it makes a solid case for being the best roller coaster at Toverland. And speaking of twisted drops, we have the most wicked one coming up next. Beating Troy with just 0.1 km per hour difference, we have Lost Gravity at Walibi Holland. Given that this prototype Mach Big Dipper reaches a top speed of 87 km per hour or 54.1 miles per hour, it definitely found the gravity during the first drop. Lost Gravity has a surprisingly fast lift hill, which just throws you into the layout. This absolutely helps the coaster reach this top speed. Then the first drop is a surprisingly steep and twisted start to an out of control ride. This 87 km per hour speed is then used to throw you into a small bunny hop, which delivers great ejector airtime. The mid-course brake run does kill all of the speed the coaster has, but this feels intentional. You go from a breakneck pace that has you lifted out of your seat from the airtime to a slower experience to lift you out of your seat with hang time on the inversions. So while the top speed is good for a 7th spot, the entire pacing of the ride will suffer a bit. Lost Gravity is truly a ride with two different phases. And from the steep drop of Lost Gravity, we are heading into another steep drop with our number 6, Baron 1898 at the Efteling. This Bolliger MLB or B&M for short, dive coaster may not be the tallest around, but the drop itself is deceptively deep. You will drop down 37.5 meters or 123 feet into a mine shaft and reach a top speed of 90 km per hour or 56 miles per hour. But Baron 1898 doesn't really keep that speed for long, as you are flung into the Immelman and have a layout that is higher than its lowest point. Still, blasting through the mist of the mine shaft with the banshees wailing at you is an experience you won't get anywhere else, so Baron 1898 truly delivers a unique ride. But Baron 1898 is not the only ride that holds you in place before picking up speed, and it is tied with another coaster that does something similar. So click the subscribe button before we are launching into number 5, Xpress Platform 13 at Walibi, Holland. One of the earliest investments of Six Flags when they had ownership over the European Walibi parks, this Vekoma LSM coaster was known for its incredibly punchy launch. It takes you from 0 to 90 km per hour or 56 miles per hour within 2.8 seconds. Xpress Platform 13 started out as a completely open-air coaster, as the bright red Superman the Ride. But when Six Flags went bankrupt and sold to European parks, this was rebranded to Xpress, and eventually Xpress Platform 13. You board the train in a haunted metro station, take a left-hand turn, and you are locked in for an adrenaline rush as the coaster gets ready to launch. This 90 km per hour top speed brings you into the Sea Serpent element, but after that, the layout just dies down. And if it looks similar, you are likely correct, because this is Disney's Rock 'n' Roller Coaster in the open air. While you get some nice height chopper effects, the layout is just a bit dull, which isn't the case for the next entry on this list. Untamed at Walibi, Holland. Untamed is located on the other side of the park and is an RMC hybrid coaster built on the remnants of the old wooden coaster Robin Hood. So with the wooden supports and steel track, this coaster drops you into a layout with a top speed of 92 km per hour or 57 miles per hour. It is the start of an out-of-control ride experience with plenty of airtime moments. Untamed truly tries to rip you from your seat from start to finish. It keeps the pace incredibly well, because after a few higher elements, it sticks closer to the ground and weaves through the wooden structure as the coaster makes its way back to the station. This is truly an adrenaline-packed layout, leaving you out of breath and wondering what just happened as you hit the brakes. Untamed really lives up to its name, which is why it's surprising it's only sitting at the 4th spot of this list. So as we're heading into the top 3, we actually have another tie going on, which means that for the 3rd spot, we are flying over to Fenix at Toverland. This B&M wing coaster soars through Avalon at a speed of 95 km per hour or 59 miles per hour, after dropping you into the layout through its first inversion, the dive drop. This drop can be seen from pretty much anywhere in the park and is the start to a high-paced ride. The speed is also the reason why it's such an intense experience, because the helix after the Immelman ends up pulling 5 Gs of positive forces, which is enough for many people to just grey out. In my experience so far, wing coasters tend to be graceful, but Fenix is nothing like that. So far, it has been the most intense wing coaster I have experienced. The layout is pretty short and you blaze through it, but it's a gorgeous visual to have Fenix shoot through the layout and have interactions with the pathways and rides in Avalon. Fenix missed the 2nd spot by 1 year, because the next coaster had it beat, and this was the biggest surprise to me. Our 2nd spot is Gold Rush at Attractiepark Slagharen. This Gerstlaufer Infinity coaster really surprised me. Gold Rush uses a swing launch to get up to full speed, which, like Fenix, is 95 km per hour or 59 miles per hour. With that speed, you get launched right over the top hat, which is filled with airtime. You then continue the compact but action-packed layout, before taking the dive loop back to the launch track. Gold Rush is short and incredibly punchy. The backwards launch has an excellent kick to it, and depending on your row, you will be hanging out of your seat in the dive loop before accelerating to the top speed. The only thing that is faster than that acceleration is you clicking the like button. Seriously though, Gold Rush is actually a rush, but I did not expect it to be the 2nd fastest roller coaster in the Netherlands. It just felt too small and, in a way, out of place to be that. But it still doesn't even get close to the top spot in the Netherlands, which, for 23 years now, has been Goliath at Walibi Holland. This should come to no surprise. This Dutch record breaker dominates the skyline at Walibi Holland and takes you on an airtime-filled ride, reaching a top speed of 106 km per hour or 66 miles per hour. With this speed, the first camelback provides a great pop-up ejector airtime, and this intimate mega coaster finishes the layout with some elite bunny hills. Not only did this coaster break the Dutch records in 2002, it has been the fastest coaster within the Benelux for 17 years, until it was overtaken by Fury in Bobbejaanland. And this was only by 0.6 km per hour. It is just a question when Goliath will lose the record within the Netherlands, and what kind of coaster will overtake it. Only time will tell, but for now, Goliath holds the crown. And Goliath may be the fastest, but it's not even close to having the steepest drop. In fact, the number one steepest drop in the Netherlands is so insane, it makes Goliath look tame. Click this video next to find out how steep the drops in the Netherlands can get.